Hello, everybody. I was just checking in to see what everybody was up to today. I don't think I posted a video yesterday, but it's Jenny, and I just was checking to see what everybody was doing. I wanted to talk about Donald Trump calling the COVID virus, supposedly COVID virus, the China virus. I was checking out TMZ today, and on TMZ it shows an article, a little news clip, where China wants to sue Donald Trump in civil liberty um, for for their civil liberty rights, for him slandering them and talking about them and saying that the COVID virus came from China, and just slandering the name China. It was just so very rude and very obnoxious and very hateful and very racist. So you guys want to check that out down out on TMZ and Donald Trump. But to me, COVID virus is in all actuality Satan's contamination. It has to do with satellites, electromagnetic electricity, and the poisoning of one's body through satellite emissions and all things that are unnatural for our bodies. Technology, um, um, and our TVs. I don't know if you guys have seen the plasma TVs. Excuse me, my head is kind of hurting today. But the plasma TVs and everybody saying, "Oh my God, my TV is 3D." That just jumped out and smacked me in the face. In all actuality, it's all of the electromagnetic electricity emissions that are forced into our world from the Beast satellites 1 and 2 that they made back in the 1980s. I looked on YouTube not too long ago to see if I could find um, if I could find some news articles or something about them making those, because I remember they used to have videos that posted about the Beast 1 and Beast 2, the most humongous, biggest satellites in the world that were generated and manufactured or whatever in the 1980s. Middle 1980s, the end of 1980s, I believe it was. But it's all the electromagnetic emissions that are coming into the TV, coming into our world through satellite TV, through spectrum, through the cell phones, the FAM radios, are always constantly running in the background. And all of that is attacking our bodies. And they're trying to use our heads as radio towers. And if you're not using your AFAM radio, go ahead and disable it, and that will stop the AFAM radio electricity targeting your brain, and your brain storing up all that electricity, so that whenever you pass somebody, it's like you hear somebody else's thought. And where they came up with all of that stuff, they're trying to use our bodies like a radio tower, with our heads being the ball of the radio tower. And that stuff is pretty scary if you really think about it. And it all has to do with technology and all the bad things that are coming into this world. Sorry if I'm a little bit all over the place, but I'm a little bit nervous and I am talking kind of fast. But I used to talk about all of this stuff many, many years ago. And I would like to talk to people in the whole entire world about different things that I experience and different things that I have knowledge of, to give the people of the world kind of some type of knowledge of information. But the cell phones and radio electricity going into our brains, they use it to kind of like mind read our minds, and electronic torture. If you have ever heard the radio at times, sometimes they shock the radio waves, which means they force extra electricity through the air. And if you're wearing headphones or if you're on your cell phone, it's gonna shock your brain, and you're gonna just have this this type of pain inside of your head And um, it's like the igniter to a welding machine that they just click and click and click and click. And whenever they do stuff like that, it forces electricity through the air from one point to the other, from point A to point B. And it will shock the frontal lobe of your brain, which that's how they enter into our brains and into our minds. And they begin to hear us, and it seems like, oh my god, I can hear myself from my refrigerator. I can hear myself from the water running. I can hear myself from the electricity, from the air conditioner running. And then what's wrong is our bodies are so full of electricity, from them forcing stuff like that into our bodies and into our lives. And one of those ways is through Satan's contamination, which they're calling it COVID. And it attacks our bodies so very bad that it wears our body out to where we can't really hardly ever breathe. And I want to be able to talk to people about stuff like that. So if you have any questions or anything, you could go ahead and comment. But I'm going to just leave you with a little brief preview about what I want to start talking about and how I want to start talking about it. Most of the time, I don't have time to push record on my video, because I just talk and talk and talk. So I don't like to interrupt myself whenever I'm talking. So it just flows ever so freely and ever so beautifully. So I'm going to try to figure something out to where the people that listen to me and hear me will be able to understand whatever I'm saying, because I'm kind of new at this. And I don't really know in all actuality what I'm doing, but I know that my conversations are all over the place. But maybe that little bit will give people a little bit of insight, and people will start being aware more and more about what's going on in our world, especially when it comes to technologies and electricity. Those are unnatural for our body, and a person should not spend all day long on their cell phone. And that's where a lot of our cancers and stuff come from. But in case some people are hearing voices and you've never ever experienced stuff like that, maybe you will understand what they're trying to do with our bodies when it comes to electricity. And I want to give some people some type of understanding in why people are now hearing voices, and a lot more people are schizophrenic. People are being scared and tortured and tormented, and put and placed into fear, into being dominant and submissive, under domination and submissive to the voices that they hear throughout their day or in their voice. And it may sound like they're coming from your home and stuff like that, but in all actuality, they're really coming from inside of your head or your hair, stuff like that, from the electricity and stuff that's free flowing throughout the entire world. And so you might want to disable your cell phone. AFAM radio, it's constantly running in the background. If you just push force to stop, it's going to start back up. It's something that was invented by the phone companies, by the Android. I call it the Antichrist devices, because they want to know what everybody's doing in the whole entire world. They want to know who you are, what you're doing, who your kids are, who your husband is, where you're working. They just want to know everything about you. And it's going to continue to go on, which they know that a radio that's active or on and has an antenna, it's going to constantly be transmitting and receiving information and radio waves. It's going to constantly be passing radio waves throughout your body, throughout the area. If you're constantly on your phone, it's going to be constantly passing radio electricity in and around your head. And that's how our brains and our minds, our hair follicle, our skin is attracting so much electricity. And the electricity of the world, household electricity and radio electricity, phone electricity, cable electricity, and stuff like that, is so very unnatural for our bodies. Scientists have tried to compare it to the natural nervous nerves in our body, and that little spark that they call an electrical spark to our bodies. But what is in our bodies is not like household electricity, and those two electricity, that electricity doesn't mix with our bodies, and that's what's messing people up. And it could give you heart attacks, it could give you strokes, panic attacks, make you feel so very like make everything sound like it's so amplified, make everything make you panic, make you talk fast, make you hear things that are really not there. So the electricity in the world is so far very different from what God has created inside of our bodies. Inside of our bodies is a form of soft. I want to compare it kind of to lightning, because lightning comes from God. Lightning is in all actuality, it could hurt you and harm you if you're not protected from God. But the electricity from the sky is in all actuality, God is an angel of lightning. He's the one that created the lightning in the world, and he created the sparks of inside of our bodies that that interact with different nerves inside of our body to make it smooth. So what is inside of our bodies is kind of like a soft, free flowing, easy type of lightning, I would want to say, instead of like an electrical spark that's going to harm and hurt our brains and our heads. God doesn't mean to hurt and harm us, and he would never put the type of source of electricity that comes from from a man's idea to put things together to cause electricity and flow power that generates and runs voltage inside of our bodies to shock us and to hurt us. The electricity inside of our body, well, I don't even like to call it electricity, but I like to call it lightning. It has nothing, there's no comparison in what was brought into this world to power our world through electricity to what's inside of our bodies. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about all of that, but I just want people to know what I want to talk about and how I want to talk about it. So if there's something that you don't understand, just go ahead and I think you could comment me on the links below, or you could, I don't know if you could send me another video, or perhaps maybe you could send me a message at my Google Mail, which is the same as my email on my YouTube, and ask me to explain something a little bit better, or if there's something that you want to talk about, go ahead and let me know, and we could talk about it. If I don't know about it, then I could pray about it and ask God, and more than likely God will give me answers. So I hope that you guys all have a wonderful day in the day the Lord has given, and I'm gonna get ready to make some dinner. So perhaps maybe I'll let you guys peek in on my dinner. Have a good afternoon.